With Warframe being at a low point for me right now, and the fact that I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to ideas to keep me sane in the family world while I wait for the next convergence, I had the bright idea to start a new world for solo play. I also remember that hardcore was introduced for Bedrock as well. While I'm no stranger to playing seriously, that's usually performed only in bursts, so seeing a mode where I would have to keep a heightened level or sense of awareness more often than I'm used to did sound interesting. So if this has you as curious as I do in my abilities to perform, let's dive into my first hardcore world and see if I got what it takes and how long I can last. As a quick mention here, I'm going to be editing out parts that I consider too boring or repetitive for the viewer. The next one is that I didn't know if I really wanted to be yapping through this whole video, so there will be moments where I use subtitles or just silent parts where we can both get a break in the game. The true start to all Minecraft worlds, the loading screen. A decent enough spawn, so I did like any Minecraft player would, and start punching a tree. Got myself some gear in the process, of course. After drawing first blood on some unprocessed bacon, I was originally going to start looking around, exploring, of course, getting my bearings, but this idea was cut short when I found a dark spot that could have enemies. This prompted me to prioritize uh, getting a home base first in case I ever had to retreat. So thankfully, after that first sheep, I was able to find the jackpot of foods in this case, as I didn't have to worry about cooking these to properly eat them. With nothing in my inventory to sort out, and night already approaching, this was a good way to end the day. And with that, the first day was survived. It was also around this moment that I noticed I didn't have the days played or coordinates showing, so I did take a moment to fix that. Now I figured the thing could automatically kill me, assuming that it is on hardcore mode, but for some reason the voices told me to try my luck anyways, and it seems that I was able to do it properly enough. So the reason I started destroying these bushes and ferns is because I was worried that at any point I might have to fight here if I even survive it that long, and I didn't want the game prioritizing me breaking these while enemies started marching closer and closer. Since there wasn't much time left in the day, I decided to focus more on expanding the inside of the home so I'd have more room to work with. With a small food farm going on in the back and a chest to dump some of my loot, I can finally say that the second day is done. Since I was still without armor for the second day, seeing this in front of me was a challenge I had to take, since the payoff could be huge for me so early on. Now with the unnecessary zombie out of the way, I had to try and get this one up onto ground level so I could do what I wanted to do. Now, in case anybody who's watching doesn't know what I'm trying to do, I found out a while ago that if you drown a zombie that spawns with any gear attached, you can guarantee the loot mint as long as you don't damage them in the process, which in this case is very valuable to me because I have no armor and this person's missing only the boots. And with them finally trapped under the ice, all I have to do now is wait for the conversion process to finish and check back later. Now with the main show out of the way, it was back to business as usual with the home, upgrading and expanding as much as I could with what I had. With all that happened on the third day, the aimless wandering, missing swings on the fish, stealing the armor off the dead, I thought this was enough useful productivity. And with that, the end of the third day. I decided to head back to where I found the gold zombie, see if there was anything useful down there. A cave system, materials, a dungeon maybe. Unfortunately, though, I would soon find out that there was nothing too much of importance here. It was just a good spot where mobs could spawn, hostile ones. As I was still wandering around this spit of land that I'm going to call home for the foreseeable future, I noticed that there were spots that I still hadn't gotten used to enough, especially because for the last 3 days I never came across this. It might not be useful to me now, but it's still something I'd love to keep track of for later. Now, for reasons that'll hopefully be revealed later if I survive for long enough, I finally acquired one item that I consider particularly useful, the boat. So after some home renovation and acquiring my favorite tool, the fourth day was over. Now, of course, the main objective of going into that cave is to hopefully find some iron and make it back out alive. With the night closing in soon, and the iron already melting, I chose to stay inside and expand the home, even if only a little bit. And when the iron was ready, I decided to make the bucket. The reason I chose to do that first is because the water that you can carry will naturally repel enemies if you just spill on the floor, and they even get lightly touched by the current, along with the fact that it allows for more risky travels. I had the bright idea once night fully settled in to try and see if there were enemies to loot, but with the sight of the witch, I decided the fifth night was best left in the past. With a new farm added in and the night already beginning, I decided to make my rounds and see if there was anything worth looting off nearby zombies. Even though the three creepers did set me on edge, it wasn't going to stop me from that iron sword I saw in the distance being carried by that zombie. So, I decided to let my recklessness take over and try to figure out a way to get that off its hands. For a moment I thought I could also sink the creepers as well in here, but I'll admit I did forget that they could float. Other than that, though, all I had to do now was play the waiting game until I could hear the zombie finished converting into a drowned, and then I could safely retreat and collect its sword in the daytime. With the zombie drowned and the loot guaranteed, this was the end of the sixth night.
No. No. No.
So while I was killing time, I decided to try again on something I only got to work once in the family world, and that is getting a potion of invisibility from a wandering trader by defeating them at the right moment. I say defeating when it's a one-sided killing, but whatever. If you time it just right, you can get them to drop the potion that they're about to take, just like you would a witch and their potion of healing. Now, unfortunately, because I got sidetracked by the spider, I still want a lot of webs for another reason. Zombie got to him first and made him drink the potion early. With the main reason of staying up this night unfortunately failing, I decided that it was time to hit the hay, and with that, the seventh night was over. After making sure of my inventory, I decided I was going to go back to the cave and see if I could find either more materials or at least put down more torches to prevent hostile mobs from spawning in and allow deeper or more thorough exploration. And in this moment that I saw the second gold zombie for the playthrough, I knew it was time to take in the dead yet again, and I had an idea on how to get to this. With the spare armor set finally secured and the night closing in again, I decided to check one more time to see if there was any loot worth stealing off of Zombie. But unfortunately, since there wasn't, I decided this would be a perfect time to close the 8th night. And since I've been playing for 8 in-game days in a row, I decided this would also be a good time to call the run here for now and take a break. If you've been enjoying this, well, I hope you stick around so you can see the second episode when I inevitably come back to this. Until then, this is the end of the video.